All right, guys, welcome back to class. Today we are going to continue some work with informational text. But before we start our lesson, I want us to go ahead and look at our key goals for this lesson, our key objectives. So today you will know that effectiveness of textual evidence in explaining how key words and phrases are powerful in storytelling. You will also understand how key words and phrases develop a central idea or a main idea. And you will also be able to write a response expressing how key words and phrases are powerful in storytelling. So let's go ahead and get started with our first prompt for today. So I want us to look at this. It says facts versus story. I want you to think, what is the difference between telling someone a list of facts about an event and telling him or her a story about those events? What is the difference? So today, we always guide our learning with our focus and our content framing question. Our focusing question, or what we need to focus on as we're going through our lesson, is how do the stories help us make sense of ourselves and the world? We also want to look at our content framing question, which is in our reveal stage, and it says, what does a deeper exploration of word choice and phrases reveal about the power of in the man-made of words? So in order for this to happen for us, I first want us to look at our welcome prompt. So we just answered this question that was here. And then we just talked about our content framing question, which was on this slide here. I want us to look at these two questions side by side. And I want us to ask ourselves, how does your response to the welcome prompt or this question connect to the content framing question? What is the similarities between these two questions? So the first thing that you have to do is you have to have answered this question. And then I want you to see how your answer to this question relates to your content framing question. So today we are going to be reading The Man Made of Words, and we are going to be analyzing this text. In a series of questions that I have here, you will notice that at the end of each question, it says paragraphs 1 and 3, or it may say paragraphs 13, 14, and 15, paragraphs 16 and 17, or paragraph 21. So when you look at these questions, it is going to tell you which paragraphs your answers are going to be in, or where you need to look to find the information. So the first question is, according to Momaday, why do we have language in stories? What function does language serve in relation to the ideas we have of ourselves? What function does language serve in relation to the ideas we have of ourselves? This is paragraphs 1 and 3. What happens when Momaday speaks the name Khoisan? How is this an example of the magic of words? Paragraphs 13, 14, and 15 is where you will find the answer to this. How does Momaday react to Khoisan's appearance? How does she respond? Why is existing in someone else's imagination the best of all kinds of beings? This is in paragraphs 16 and 17. And our last question says, after Khoisan leaves, Momaday writes that he imagined he was alone in the room. What do you think he means by this? And this will be in paragraph 21. So you are going to read The Man Made of Words, and you are going to stop after you've read the particular sections and look for the answers, giving me a clear and decisive answer with textual evidence. So just so you guys are aware, handout 25 is where you will actually physically find the text as well for the man-made of words. So when I click it, and this is also inside of Clever, you can go to Clever and type in Great Minds and it will bring up the student edition. You'll be able to find the handout online as well. If you need help getting to that, please come to office hours so I can assist you. So here it says handout 25A, 5 important words from the man-made of words. The direction says for you to decide on 5 words from the man-made of words that are most essential or most important to understanding the essay's central idea. First, define your word. So you'll write the word, then you'll define it. Then you will write briefly about why this word is important to your understanding of the essay. And then finally, you will use the word in a sentence. That will be here. So for example, one of the words that I chose that was very important to understanding the text was imagination. And when I looked up the definition of imagination, I came up with these definitions: forming pictures in your mind of things that have not happened or that you did not see or experience, or the ability of the mind to be creative or resourceful, or forming new ideas or concepts not present to the senses. And then I wrote down why the word imagination was important to the central idea. So the reason why this word was important is because Mama Day focuses on the idea that imagination has power to shape ourselves and our reality. And then I used it in a sentence. When I imagine myself being brave, even when I don't feel that way, I am more confident to try new things. So this is the sentence that I have done. This is an example of what you are going to do on handout 25A. Make sure that you're choosing words that are important to the understanding of the main idea or the central idea. So let's look at our craft question. We are in our examine and our experiment stage, and I want us to ask ourselves, how does incorporating textual evidence work? So I want you guys to go back to the reflective paragraphs that we wrote yesterday in yesterday's lesson. If you did the assignment, that reflective essay should be inside of your drive. Okay, and so from that reflective essay that you did yesterday, I want you to identify areas where and how you could incorporate textual evidence into your writing. So let's talk a little bit more about textual evidence. What do we already know about using textual evidence in writing? I want to tell you guys that along with identifying strong textual evidence, it is necessary to consider how to use the evidence in writing. How is textual evidence used in the most effective? How is textual evidence used in the most effective way? So in handout 25B, I want you to look here, and this one is called Incorporating Textual Evidence. So now we're going to start experimenting with incorporating evidence inside of our writing. So to continue with incorporating text evidence, I want us to look at handout 25B so we can see what it looks like, so we can see what we're going to be doing for our work. So here it says, read the following guidelines and complete the sentence stems below. So evidence that is well integrated into your writing should accomplish three things. It should give your reader text-specific evidence to support what you're thinking. It should show your reader why you are using that particular piece of evidence. And it needs to add a variety and interest to your writing. So here it says to choose evidence that is relevant, which means that matches, that's important, that connects to what you're trying to say. So this means it should strongly support your ideas you want to communicate in your writing. You need to explain why you are including this particular textual evidence. There are many reasons to choose textual evidence, so your job is to make your reason clear to the reader. And there are several ways to effectively incorporate evidence. You also want to use introductory sentences or phrases to set the scene for your textual evidence. So here we have some examples. So here it says, Josh uses figurative language to explain JB's situation on the basketball court. Josh's language is detailed and humorous. But I didn't tell you where I got this information or where I came to this conclusion. Where is the figurative language? So here, instead of saying Josh uses figurative language to explain JB's situation on the basketball court, Josh's language is detailed and humorous, I say, in Josh's play-by-play, so I'm telling you which poem, Josh uses figurative language to explain JB's situation on the basketball court. Then I go to Josh's play-by-play and I give you a line that shows that he was trying to explain JB's situation through figurative language. So according to Josh, JB is McDonald's drive-thru open, 131, which adds detail and humor to the poem while developing unique Josh's voice. So this is a way that we incorporate textual evidence. Now I want you to answer, why was this evidence important or effective? Why was this evidence a good idea? What did it add to the information for the reader? Then you have another example here where we're doing the same thing, and then the same here. So then it wants you to try incorporating evidence from the man made of words using the following sentence stem. So you're going to fill in the blanks here. Mama Day uses blank to explain how stories have power. According to Mama Day, what does he say? Which supports the idea that Mama Day shows the power of stories when he states, and Mama Day uses use of words like accurately describe his idea that. So you would want to fill in the blanks of these here. So that's what you're going to be doing on this handout 25B. Once you guys have completed your textual evidence handout for 25B, I want you guys to answer the content framing question. What does a deeper exploration of word choice and phrases reveal about the power of stories and the man made of words? How did your work with specific words build your understanding of Mama Day's ideas about the power of stories to help us make sense of ourselves and the world? So please make sure that you do the handouts first before you get to the content framing question. For tonight's homework, I want you guys, sorry about that. For tonight's homework, I want you guys to identify 3 places in your reflective paragraph from the previous lesson where you could incorporate textual evidence. Where could you add textual evidence into your reflective paragraphs to make them better? All right, So today, guys, for our deep dive, we are going to be looking at sentences, and we're going to have a refresh of our memories for sentence structures. We have complex sentences and compound complex sentences. We also have simple sentences. And then we're going to look at what identifying our clauses are, what type of clauses we have, and what characteristics they have. So I want you guys to read over this so that you can refresh your memory about what a complex or compound complex sentence is and the identifiers of clauses. So let's look at some of these subordinate conjunctions. We have after, when, than, if, as, where, though, while, until, so that, before that, and how, although, whenever, wherever, unless, and since, because, and even though. So now that we have these subordinate conjunctions, I want us to look at these sentences. Can you tell me if these sentences are complex or if they are compound complex? And you will need to look at the definitions of what a compound complex or complex sentence is so that you can distinguish the difference between the two. So which sentence is complex? Which sentence is compound complex according to the definitions? I also will incorporate a review for you all so we can go over what simple sentences are, what compound sentences, complex sentences, compound complex sentences are. And I want you guys to understand that storytellers use a variety of sentences in their writing to express their ideas clearly and to hold their readers' interest. So we don't want to write our stories in only simple sentences. We want to have simple sentences, compound, complex sentences to go in our story. So let's look at the man made of words. Simple, compound, complex, and compound complex. I want you to look at some of these sentences, and I want you to evaluate how one of the sentences that you annotated demonstrates the author's ideas. So you will fill in the blank for these here. So for example, the first one says, Mama Day uses the simple sentence because he wanted to. So you would need to find a simple sentence that's inside of the Man Made of Words article and then explain why it was used. So you'll be using or filling in the blanks for the different types of sentences that Mama Day uses in his writing. For the end of our lesson today, guys, you will be writing an essay for Focusing Question Task 4. This is in the next lessons. And you should be aware of the sentence structures that they use so you can clearly and accurately convey your ideas. So I want to make sure that you guys are familiar with the different types of sentences, because when you guys start preparing your essay for Focusing Question Task 4, I want to see a multitude of types of sentences, not just all simple sentences. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. Again, if you have any help or questions or concerns about the lessons, please come to office hours where I can assist you. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.